Hey everyone, it's Sunday, and I'm here to do another reaction. This one, somebody was asking me to do this for quite some time now. This is a song called True Stories by Whitey. The band is Whitey. I just did a little search on them, and I think this came out in 2020. Looks like the name of the album, The Times They Are Deranging, 2020. And it looks like, according to this, maybe it was an EP. There's 4 songs here: Little Piggies, Animal Kingdom, Where's America, and True Stories. I don't know if that information is right. I don't know a lot about this band. I don't know where they're from. I'll have to figure that one out. But before we get into that, let's take a listen to it and see what it's all about. Live kind of a feel. Sounds like they're all in a room jamming, you know.
I've seen bad signals pouring in. I've seen underneath the skin. I feel like I've seen everything, and the world's an empty cup. Now everybody's on the stage, and violence is all the rage. We'd like to turn another page, we won't see too much. Sing
that is, well, that's a really interesting song. Really interesting song. So, first, lyrically, I really like this. You know, I've seen Bad Signals Pouring In, I've seen Underneath the Skin. I feel like I've seen everything, and the world's an empty cup. Now everybody's on the stage. Social media, violence is all the rage. We'd like to turn another page, but we've all seen too much. See all the world in a picture. This seems so wrong, and I'm no longer really sure that some of us are even real people anymore. So yeah, kind of a real statement on social media and how it's just kind of taken over everything and taken over our lives. Um, the room is burning. You should get out of here, but then you won't know how it ended. Because it's not just entertainment, it's how you spend your life. Find something true. It's where the real story ended. So I like this. I think this is really good. I like the message. I like the lyrics. Um, really interesting stuff. And the music is really interesting because the chord progression is, to me, was kind of surprising to me because it just doesn't go where you expect it to go. So if you know a lot of songs and chord progressions, you'll hear a couple of chords put together and you kind of can already tell where it's going to go because there's all these tried and true chord progressions that get used over and over and over again. But that's not the case here. So this was really interesting, and it kind of had that Radiohead mentality. I played last night. I'm still a little tired. And it had that kind of Radiohead thing where the chords are put together in a non-traditional way, which at first may sound a little disjointed, but then as your ear gets used to them and they repeat in the verses or the choruses, they sound interesting. They sound fresh, and this is kind of doing that for me. So let's take a listen. Let me go back here. Let's go right to the beginning. I want to. Interesting. It's really weird. It's going down chromatically. And then. Oh, interesting. So let me get this. Let me get the keyboard camera up here. I want to talk a little bit about these chords. Let me pause for a second to make sure this camera's set up. Okay, so there we go. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in here musically. I'm hearing this chromatic line going down in the bass. What do we got? We got E flat, right? Then we have down to A flat, right? And back to that E flat. Really different, really not what you would expect. Not what you would expect, Those are the interesting. Let's see where it goes from here. And the recording sounds very present. It sounds like they're recording it all like in the same room, playing it together. Same thing. Oh. Oh, that's different. Now we're in minor. interesting. So that is crazy. That's just crazy. So let's take a listen to that. To an A major, to a
see bad signals pouring in.
then a couple of times he goes up a half step. And in traditional music, you're expecting, when something does that, you're expecting it to go to certain traditional places, and it completely doesn't do that. It goes back to that. So it's just so weird. It's so weird. It's cool. It's definitely cool. Let's keep going. So we're back to the beginning chords.
I feel like I've seen everything, and the world's an empty cup. Now everybody
Drum sound, it's just so retro sounding to me.
violence is all the rage. We'd like to turn another page, but we won't see too much.
It reminds me of back in the days when a lot of digital effects units started coming out. And I'm hearing that drum sound and the echo on there. It's kind of like a early reflection, a really long early reflection reverb or something on there, and it just reminds me of the old SPX 90s, the Yamaha SPX 90s. Every time I hear that, it's bringing me back to that. So let's keep going. I want to hear a little more.
All the world in a picture. Something seems to be wrong, and I'm no longer even sure some of us are really even people anymore. Here is the world, and here is what you choose. You build it out of stories, some of them were true. Yeah, you know a lot of stories, but none of them are how
that's going around.
This room is burning and you should get out of.
So here they're going D minor. And I think he hits something in there to the that was A and then C. So that's the other chord progression that's going around in there. Unusual, pretty cool.
Then you won't know how it ended, 'cause it's not just entertainment.
And those strange
It's
little
how you spend your life. It's where the real
There to
story
G.
ended. So get
And then up to the G sharp. Up to the C. So those seem to be our three main things going on in there. So that's your first. And then back into that. And what was the second little theme in there? Let me go back to that one. I don't remember what it is now. So that's your first chord progression figure. So it goes to A major there, up to the D minor. there's your second theme there. Um, that's the D minor A thing. So that's weird. So he's going, and then at one point they go to that, and now they're into this thing. Interesting tune. So cool. I like this tune. I really like the lyrical content. I like the freshness and inventiveness and non-traditional chord progression. Pretty cool, and it's simple. I like the sound. It's kind of, I don't want to say lo-fi, but it just sounds like it was recorded. I want to say at home. There's a feeling to this that just sounds very casual as far as the recording. It sounds like an upright piano, that's in somebody's basement, and even down to the choice of the reverb on the drums. It's got a really cool vibe. I like it a lot. So yeah, Whitey, true stories. Yeah, and this. What they're talking about is definitely a true story about the world that's going crazy. So anyway, I'm glad I finally got around to doing this one. Definitely want to hear some more of Whitey. Anyway, we'll move on. See you in a little bit.